My girlfriend faked a pregnancy to trap me, and her whole family helped her. Hey. Before we move on to the video, please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. Thanks. I, 29 am, used to think I was one of the lucky ones in the dating world. I had a good job, my own place, decent social skills, and no major baggage. I wasn't desperate, but I wanted something real. Then Tara, 27F, came along, and for the first 6 months, it really did feel real, better than anything I'd experienced before. We met through a mutual friend at a small get-together. She was the one who came up to me, which honestly doesn't happen often. Confident, funny, quick-witted. She had this magnetism to her that just drew people in. Within a week, we were texting every day, then calling at night, and not long after that, we were officially together. Tara was intense, but I figured that was just passion. She'd do these wildly romantic things, show up at my apartment unannounced with dinner, leave notes in my bag, send me long paragraphs about how she finally found someone who understands her. She talked about us like we were in-game just 3 weeks in. That should have been a red flag. But when you're lonely, and someone paints you as their world, it feels more like a compliment than a warning. The first real oddity was how fast she wanted everything to move. She brought up moving in after 2 months. She started referring to my dog as our baby. She made not-so-subtle comments about how cute our kids would be. And then there was her mom, Pam. From the moment I met her, Pam acted like we'd already been married for years. She was very sweet on the surface, too sweet. Constant flattery, calling me her future son-in-law within an hour of knowing me. She said things like, "You have no idea how long Tara's waited for a man like you." At first, I thought maybe they were just close, that Tara leaned on her for support, and maybe Pam was just thrilled her daughter was happy. But that closeness, it started to feel suffocating. Pam would call Tara multiple times a day, sometimes while we were in the middle of dinner or lying in bed. If Tara didn't answer, Pam would start texting things like, "Are you okay? Call me now." And when Tara did answer, it was always something trivial, what brand of detergent we used, what I said about some show they liked, how clean my bathroom was. Tara would parrot things her mom said like gospel. If I brought up a disagreement, or even a small issue, like wanting some alone time on weekends, she'd say things like, "My mom thinks you're being distant," or "Pam says you're acting like you don't want this anymore." I should have run then. I know that now. But Tara always followed those weird, controlling moments with these intense emotional makeups. She'd cry and tell me she was scared to lose me, that I was the best thing to ever happen to her, that she just wanted to make sure I was in it for the long haul. And I was. Or I wanted to be. I had just been promoted at work, more responsibility, longer hours, more money. Tara said she was proud, but there was something else in her face the night I told her. A kind of flicker. I thought maybe she felt left behind, stuck in her retail job. I tried to include her more, talk about our future, offer to help her go back to school. She always deflected. Then came the night everything changed. It was a Friday. I'd just gotten home from a 12-hour day, mentally drained, and Tara was already at my place. She'd cooked dinner and was sitting on the couch looking like she'd just cried. I asked her what was wrong, and she didn't answer right away. Then she pulled something out of her purse and handed it to me. A pregnancy test. Positive. I just sat there, staring at it. I felt like someone had hit me in the chest with a bag of bricks. "I didn't want to tell you like this," she whispered, but I didn't know how to keep it in anymore. "I'm pregnant." My brain scrambled to catch up. We'd always used protection, but maybe not perfectly. There had been one night with a broken condom. I remembered it clearly, 3 weeks ago. I didn't know what to say. I just kept repeating, "Are you sure?" And she started crying again, saying she'd taken 2 tests that morning. She swore she wasn't trying to trap me, that she was scared and didn't want to go through it alone. I hugged her because she was shaking and sobbing, and in that moment, everything else faded. I told her I'd support her no matter what, that we'd figure it out together. Within hours, Pam had somehow found out. Tara swore she hadn't called her, but I didn't believe that for a second. Pam showed up that night with baby name books and prenatal vitamins. No joke. My house, my home, was suddenly filled with this weird, forced energy. Tara curled up on the couch with her mom and started crying again. Pam looked at me with the softest, most condescending smile and said, "Don't worry, James. You're doing the right thing. We're going to take care of you now." And I just stood there, feeling like I'd lost control of my entire life in under 12 hours. At first, I tried to take things at face value. I mean, if Tara was really pregnant, then we had to plan appointments, diet changes, maybe financial adjustments. I didn't want to be the guy who ran at the first sign of responsibility. And as much as this wasn't what I'd planned, part of me thought, maybe this could be something good. Maybe it was just coming sooner than expected. But within a week, I started feeling like this wasn't my life anymore. It was theirs. Tara moved in completely 3 days after the "I'm pregnant" bombshell. Not a conversation. Not a question. Just boxes stacked in my hallway one afternoon when I got home from work. She said it made more sense now that we were starting a family. I was too shocked to push back. She had this way of framing things where any disagreement meant I didn't love her or the baby. Then came the excuses. I told her we needed to set up an appointment with an OB/GYN to confirm everything and start prenatal care. She nodded and said she already had one scheduled, but she wouldn't let me come. Said she was too nervous and not ready for anyone else to be in the room. I pushed, but not hard. She started crying. A lot. Said I was being controlling, that she was scared and overwhelmed, and just needed space to breathe. After that, it became taboo to even ask about the pregnancy in any real way. I gently mentioned seeing the ultrasound or hearing the heartbeat, and she'd either deflect or make me feel like I was accusing her of lying. And somehow, in the middle of all this emotional fog, Pam was always there. She started coming over 3 or 4 times a week, rearranging furniture, cleaning areas that didn't need cleaning, buying baby clothes and leaving them in what used to be my office. She called it the nursery now. She even installed a hanging mobile over my damn desk. I tried to push back. I asked Tara if maybe we could set some boundaries with Pam. That was a mistake. Tara stared at me like I'd kicked her dog. She's just trying to help. You have no idea what she's sacrificed for me. I said I understood, but this was our life, not hers. I'm growing your child inside me, she snapped. The least you could do is not try to push away the only support system I have. That shut me up. It always did. Around that time, she also quit her job. Said it was too much stress and that she needed to prioritize her health. Which, in theory, I could understand, except she didn't ask or even warn me. Just stopped going and started spending all day in my house. Watching TV, ordering takeout, rearranging stuff, complaining when I didn't have time to sit with her because of work. I was paying all the bills, groceries, utilities, now rent for both of us. And Tara would get upset if I even mentioned money. She said I made her feel like a burden, and what kind of father complains about taking care of the mother of his child? Every time I felt like I was going to draw a line, she'd break down, cry, shake, say she felt unwanted. She accused me of not caring about the baby. She'd say things like, "You're trying to scare me into a miscarriage, aren't you?" It was like walking through a minefield every single day. One time, I came home late from a work dinner, completely exhausted, and she was sitting on the floor of the living room, sobbing uncontrollably. Pam was there too, holding her, glaring at me like I was a monster. She thought you'd gotten into a car crash, Pam snapped. She's carrying your child, and you didn't even think to text her back. I pulled out my phone and showed them that I had texted twice. No reply. Tara looked up at me and said, "I just needed to know you cared." I started to feel like I was losing my mind. That night, while Tara was asleep, I called Erica, my best friend since college. We hadn't talked much since Tara moved in. She didn't like me having female friends. Said it made her insecure, and I tried to respect that. But that night, I needed someone in my corner. I told Erica everything. Every little thing. The fake-sounding appointments, the overbearing mother, the crying, the manipulation. The way I felt like I couldn't breathe in my own home. There was a long silence on the line when I finished. Then she said something I'll never forget. "James, you know you can buy fake pregnancy tests online, right?" That sentence felt like someone kicked my legs out from under me. I just sat there on the couch, staring at the blank TV screen. I hadn't even considered it. Not really. But now, things started clicking. Too many things. No appointment confirmation. No paperwork. No actual medical visits I've been allowed to attend. No ultrasound. No baby bump. Nothing physical at all except for one cheap-looking test she handed me weeks ago. She said she'd taken 2 tests, but I'd only ever seen one. I told Erica I couldn't jump to conclusions. That accusing someone of faking a pregnancy without proof was crossing a line. She just said, "Be careful. Please." I didn't sleep that night. Tara rolled over and curled into me like nothing was wrong. Like we were any normal couple with a baby on the way. And for the first time in weeks, I didn't feel warm when she held me. I felt cold. Like a wall was going up between us, and I didn't know if I could tear it down. But I knew one thing. I had to find out the truth. I gave it another week. Not because I wasn't suspicious, because I didn't want to believe it. Because if Erica was right, and Tara was faking her pregnancy, then everything I'd been sacrificing, everything I was enduring, was for nothing. And worse, I'd let it all happen. I couldn't even think about what that said about me without getting sick. So I started watching. Not in a creepy way. Just carefully. I took note of things. I paid attention to what she was eating, how she moved, what she claimed she was feeling. She'd say she was too nauseated to get out of bed, then DoorDash an entire order from Chili's and eat it in front of the TV. She said she was having dizzy spells, so I suggested we go to urgent care. She refused. Said I was making her feel crazy. One day, she came out of the bathroom holding her stomach, wincing. The baby kicked, she said softly, like she was amazed. It's early, but I felt it. That's when I really knew something was off. She told me she was 8 weeks along. You don't feel movement at 8 weeks. That's barely past the embryo stage. I looked it up in the bathroom while she was in the kitchen. Fetal movement usually starts around 16 to 20 weeks. Some women feel flutters earlier, but definitely not this early. When I asked her later how far along she was exactly, she got cagey. You're not even excited, she muttered. It's like you're just waiting for me to mess this up. No. I was waiting for her to slip. The next day, I told her I'd be working from the office for a big deadline and left early. I doubled back 15 minutes later, parked down the street, and watched the apartment. At 11 a.m., Tara came out, dressed up, full makeup, looking happier than she had in weeks. She got in her car and drove off. I followed her. Not something I'm proud of, but I needed to know. She met a friend at a little cafe 2 neighborhoods over. They sat outside, sipping coffee. She laughed, tossed her hair. She wasn't limping, wincing, or acting remotely pregnant. They split a bottle of wine. I took photos from the parking lot. Just a few. Enough to know I wasn't imagining things. I went home feeling like I had acid in my throat. That night, I searched through every drawer, cabinet, bag, everything. I knew it was a violation. I didn't care. I felt violated every time she smiled at me and touched her stomach like she was performing a goddamn role. I found them in a shoebox on the top shelf of the closet. 3 unused pregnancy tests, still in their packaging. A printed article on how to fake morning sickness. And worst of all, a folded-up ultrasound image with no name, no date, no medical info, just a grainy stock image of a fetus. And buried at the bottom, in a notebook labeled Wedding Planning, were printed texts between her and Pam. I don't know what made her print them. Maybe she thought it was cute. Maybe she thought it was strategic. But there they were. Tara, he's gonna propose soon. I know it. Pam, if he doesn't, the baby will make him. Tara, he's asking too many questions now. Pam, then cry. Say you're scared he'll leave you. It always works. Tara, what if he wants a paternity test? Pam, say that means he doesn't trust you. Turn it back on him. I sat on the floor with that notebook in my lap, staring at the wall while the edges of my vision pulsed like I was going to pass out. She was in the shower when I confronted her. I waited for the water to shut off, then stood in the doorway holding the printed messages in one hand and the fake ultrasound in the other. What the hell is this? She froze. Barefoot, dripping, towel around her chest, staring at me like she didn't recognize who I was. Then, so fast it made my head spin, she started crying. I just wanted to keep you, she sobbed. I knew you were pulling away. You never said it, but I could feel it. I love you so much, James. I couldn't lose you. I didn't plan to lie. It just happened. You've been lying since day one, I said. You faked a pregnancy. You manipulated me. You let me turn my life inside out, and your mom helped you do it. Her face twisted. She was just trying to protect me. You have no idea what I've been through. Stop. I dropped the notebook on the floor. You're leaving. Tonight. I don't care where you go. You're not staying here another day. She went from sobbing to screaming. Accused me of being heartless. Said I was emotionally abusive. That I'd gaslit her into believing she was pregnant. I laughed. I actually laughed. It sounded hollow in my throat, like I'd cracked something open I couldn't put back. She called Pam. Put her on speaker while I stood there. He's throwing me out, Mom. He found everything. Pam's voice came through, cold and clear. Don't go anywhere. He can't kick you out if you're carrying his child. We'll make this very, very ugly for him. That was when I lost it. You want to make it ugly? I said into the phone. Fine. Let's go. I've got pictures, texts, your fake ultrasound, and a notebook full of lies. I've got evidence. I'll call the cops if I have to. Try me. Pam hung up. Tara packed a bag, crying the entire time. I stood in the doorway and watched her go. Didn't say a word. Didn't offer a ride. Just watched the woman I once thought I'd marry walk out of my life with her head down and her mother waiting in the car. It should have ended there. It didn't. 3 days later, I was served with a temporary restraining order. Tara claimed I'd emotionally terrorized her into a miscarriage. Said I'd yelled at her, refused to let her eat or sleep, and ripped her away from a supportive home. I was this close to losing my job. HR put me on leave pending legal clarification. My neighbors gave me weird looks. My landlord called to ask if I'd been arrested. It was the lowest point of my life. But I wasn't going down without a fight. The first thing I did was call Erica. I could barely get the words out without shaking. They filed a restraining order, I said. She's accusing me of abuse. She says I caused a miscarriage that never even happened. Erica didn't even hesitate. You're going to fight this. And I'm going to help. She connected me with a lawyer she knew, Marcy. Fierce, sharp, no bullshit. I brought her everything. The photos of Tara drinking wine, the screenshots from the text she printed, the fake ultrasound, the articles about faking symptoms, the pregnancy tests that were still sealed in plastic. Marcy looked through it all quietly and said, "This is going to be ugly. But we can bury them with this." She filed a countermotion immediately. Within days, we had a court date to contest the restraining order. My HR department, to their credit, kept me on administrative leave but didn't push me further once I explained I was fighting the allegations. Still, my reputation was in the dirt. My apartment felt haunted. Every room held some memory of Tara pretending to be someone she wasn't. But now I had a mission. Tara and Pam didn't know about the evidence I had. They thought they'd backed me into a corner. And I was counting on that arrogance. While Marcy built the legal side, I handled the practical one. First, I got a letter from my building's front desk staff confirming Tara had voluntarily moved out and turned in her guest key fob. Security footage showed her leaving with packed bags the day I kicked her out. No signs of force, no police calls, nothing. Then I got the receipts from her food delivery apps, orders that included sushi, wine, and other things pregnant women are told to avoid. The kicker was the date, 2 days after she said she miscarried. No hospital visits, no discharge papers, nothing. And then came the final piece. I emailed the clinic she had claimed to visit for prenatal care, posing as someone trying to verify appointment dates for insurance. They had no record of her, not a single one. When the court date finally came, I was ready. Pam and Tara walked in like they were the victims in a Lifetime movie. Tara wore this oversized sweater, no makeup, hair tied up, like she was too traumatized to function. They made their case first. Claimed I'd been mentally abusive, controlling, cold. Pam cried on the stand about how her daughter had been bright and hopeful before I ruined her. Tara said I'd mocked her pregnancy, accused her of lying constantly, and screamed at her until she started bleeding and had a miscarriage at home. Then it was my turn. Marcy dismantled them like she'd been waiting her whole life for it. She introduced the photos. Showed Tara laughing and drinking wine with friends during the time she claimed to be bedridden with morning sickness. She handed the judge the notebook with the printed texts. Read them aloud. If he doesn't propose, the baby will make him. Say that means he doesn't trust you. Turn it back on him. The courtroom was dead silent. Then Marcy showed the sealed pregnancy tests. The fake ultrasound. The email from the clinic confirming she'd never been a patient. Tara's face went ghost white. Pam tried to object, claimed we'd doctored the texts. The judge shut her down. Then I took the stand, told them everything, calmly, without anger, because I didn't need to shout. The evidence spoke louder than I ever could. I told them how I'd supported her, paid for everything, adjusted my life, and been willing to step up. I was ready to be a father, I said. But there never was a baby. There was just a plan to trap me. The judge ruled in my favor. The restraining order was thrown out, with prejudice, meaning they couldn't refile. And the judge referred both Pam and Tara for possible charges related to filing false claims and attempting to defraud me. They left the courtroom in silence. No tears, no fake sobs, just pure rage carved into their faces like masks that had finally cracked. But the story didn't end there. I thought that once the court case ended, I'd feel free. But trauma doesn't turn off like a light switch. For weeks, I still flinched when my phone buzzed. I kept looking over my shoulder in parking lots. I kept rehearsing explanations for people who never asked, terrified they'd heard Tara's version and believed it. But slowly, very slowly, my life started to return to me. Work welcomed me back after the judge's decision. HR formally apologized for jumping the gun. My manager pulled me aside and said, "We're glad you're okay. We had no idea what you were going through." I didn't explain. I just nodded. Erica stuck by me through it all. She was the only person who saw me clearly when I couldn't even recognize myself in the mirror. She came over some nights just to sit with me while I stared at a movie I wasn't watching. "You got out," she said one night, handing me a glass of wine. Most people don't. That counts for something. I still had that notebook. Still had the fake ultrasound. I thought about burning them once, but I didn't. I kept them locked in a drawer. Not because I needed a reminder, but because I wanted a record. Something to show that it had been real. That I hadn't made it all up in my head. About a month after the case ended, I got an email. From Tara. Subject line, "Can we talk?" The message was short. "James, I know you probably hate me. I just want you to know I never meant for things to go the way they did. I was scared. I made bad choices. I miss you. I hope you're doing okay. No apology. No ownership. Just that soft, manipulative tone I now saw clearly for what it was. A rope she was trying to loop back around my neck." I didn't respond. A week later, Pam called me from a different number. Left a voicemail. "You've made your point, James. But you don't have to destroy my daughter just to feel like a man. She's lost everything. She's devastated. If you had a heart, you'd at least talk to her." That one made me laugh. I sent the voicemail to Marcy, just in case. She told me to document everything. If they try to drag you back into their mess, we'll bury them again. Then, one day it happened. Tara showed up at my apartment. I was leaving for work, and there she was, standing outside the building in this oversized sweater, no makeup, clutching a little paper bag like she was about to hand me a lost puppy. "James," she said, eyes already tearing up. "Please just talk to me." I didn't say a word. I pulled out my phone and pressed record. "I'm not saying anything without legal counsel present," I said. "And you're trespassing. You need to leave." "I'm not here to cause problems," she insisted. I miss you. We had something real, didn't we? I messed up. But I loved you." I kept recording. "I thought I was pregnant," she said quickly. "I really did at first. I didn't fake it. I panicked when I found out I wasn't. I didn't want to lose you. So you lied. For months." She didn't answer. I stepped back and opened the lobby door. "Leave, Tara, or I'm calling the police." She left. That was the last time I ever saw her. A year after it all happened, I was sitting at a coffee shop, reading, when someone walked in and caught my eye. It was Erica. She smiled. Sat across from me. "You look good," she said. "I feel good," I replied. We didn't talk about Tara. We didn't need to. Sometimes survival is the revenge. Sometimes walking away, not broken, not bitter, just better, is the loudest, most satisfying victory of all. And that's exactly what I did. I walked away. Free.